I don't know. You are on your own. I don't know why you are.
I'm really, really hot.
Everybody clap your hands. Everybody clap your hands. Everybody clap your hands. Everybody.
Welcome back to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Pride.
I'm really, really hot. I'm really, really hot.
I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
I ain't scared of you, motherfucker.
You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price.
Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. So listen responsibly.
It's the best of the best. It's the one and only DJ Ice, Louisville's coldest DJ.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to Conscious Fever here on Ice Entertainment Television and Conscious Fever Radio. I am Carl Price, your host. Something happened there, y'all. Huh? He said, I don't know how to do that. He didn't do it. Don't worry about it. Hey, welcome to Conscious Fever here on Ice Entertainment Television, Conscious Fever Radio. I am Carl Price, the man with the fresh cut. I'm ashamed to tell y'all that I am drinking a Red Bull this late at night. And it's full of sugar. I am anti-sugar. But there's something going on in my throat. Don't say nothing. Anyway, I'm Carl Price. This is Conscious Fever here on Ice Entertainment Television, Conscious Fever Radio. I am sharp as always, cut fresh as I'm is. Tonight we are talking about being out of control. This is it, live tonight, Out of Control Election 2024. Those 2 people are now running for president. Now, you remember last week, we had a very interesting situation, right? No, I'm sorry, not last week, but the last time we were on, we had 2 different candidates running for president of these are our United States. Now, the game has changed. Now, we have, as some would call, a black woman, some would call an African-American woman, some would call a colored woman. The senator from Tennessee called her a colored woman, a Negro woman, or a sister, all right? Whatever you want to call her, she is running for president. She is actually leading in the polls, Paul. I think we forgot to put that poll data, grab that poll data tonight. But anyway, we're going to talk about this tonight. We're going to show you some clips from the NABJ. Why would Donald Trump go there? Anyway, I'm going to be respectful tonight. The last time I said we were here, I made a comment about the bullet having eyes, and some people were offended by that, which y'all know I don't really care. But for what it's worth, I'm going to respect. Anyway, I'm Carl Price. It's Conscious Fever on Ice Entertainment Television, Conscious Fever Radio. Right after this very, very small break. Don't go nowhere. We're going to talk about this. We're going to debate about this. Of course, the squarest man in Louisville is Paul Mullins. He is here tonight, and we're going to talk about this. We'll be right back.
I don't want them, no, get them all off me. Say down for L, she a cause, you see. 4 cars deep, we'll come through on the lane. Chicken spot, wings and fries, we call that a day night. Lights on, so out, I don't have no stage fright. Knew that I was built for this forever, ever, ever.
You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price.
We ride bands, 10 times 10, all my friends, it's for real.
And we are back with more Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price Esquire.
Man, I really like the way he says that, Carl Price Esquire. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you all for cheering wherever you are. Don't laugh. Cheering wherever you are. Anyway, we're talking about this race. This very, very interesting race that we have now. They call it a presidential race. But look at the picture now. Look at the picture. The dynamics have changed. It's now Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Somebody in the Democratic Party thought it was wise for Biden, which last time we were here, Paul, there we discussed about Biden and thought maybe he should stay in the race because we thought he could beat Trump. I still think he could have beat Trump, but now the game has changed. Now there is Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. With the contrast in our country, this cannot be more contrasting. And I'm going to say this, Paul. We can talk about it if you wish, but this is the most ardent test that we as a society in America is going to have. It is mixed with gender preferences. It is mixed with racial preferences. It is mixed with the criminally minded and those who want criminals in jail. It is mixed with all of that stuff. And it's all going to come to a head on November the 5th. And Paul, my prediction has always been, and it still is, that he's going to lose. So, Paul, welcome to the show, my friend.
Well, first of all, I got to address the squarest man in Louisville comment that you made a little while ago. That was uncalled for. I'm not the squarest man in Louisville. There's a few more people, but it's just not the case. Don't get me started. Now, what you said about...
I think a lot of listeners and viewers think that you might be, but you're a cool square man in Louisville.
No, ain't no such thing as a cool square. You're either a circle or you're a square or a triangle or whatever.
Or a dick.
Getting back to your topic. All right.
Getting back to my topic.
Why are you shooting shots? I'll get mine in later on. But back to the topic. It's not going to be... I know we've talked about this. You think it's going to be easy. It's never going to be easy because our politics is so divided that it really doesn't matter who's in the box for the Democrat or who's in the box for Republicans. You got about 85% of the electorate who already know what they're doing. So you're only fighting over that little middle pie, and it only comes down to a handful of counties. I keep saying it only comes down to a handful of people. My vote in Kentucky, it's sad to say, man, but I don't think it really affects the election.
Oh, Paul, don't
it's
say
sad
that.
to say.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I mean,
she's not going to win Kentucky.
Okay, but do this, Paul.
Unless there's a drastic change.
Paul, don't think too hard on this, okay? First of all, let me just say hello to Queen Ahamara. Thank you for watching us tonight.
Hello, Queen.
And of course, Alvin Brown wants us to define square. You want to do that, Paul, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, you spell it Karl. That's how they spell square.
This is how you spell. This is how I define square.
That's a freaking 60s term. We don't even know what that is. By the time the 70s came and you saw them calling people square from the movie Grease or something, we didn't even care. So it just shows the generational gap.
It is.
You just the old man in the room, Donald Trump.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? We define it, Alvin, just so you commented that. We define it as a Turner, Paul J. Mullins.
Come on now, that's not a
Who
definition.
uses that? A Turner. That's Sean Wimberly, right?
What do you... Let's get back on topic.
Anyway, Paul, you're not square. Let's just get back on topic. Anyway, the NABJ, let's look at I'm trying to figure out
Donald Trump's response to the first question.
Yeah, first I want to play the whole thing, and I really don't want to. But before we do that, I really don't want to give too much accolades to Donald Trump. You know, because I think that's the problem with the media in this in this country. He says these crazy things, and he gets more
passes
commercial play than anybody. And you know, and that's going to matter. That's going to matter for about 200,000 or 300,000 votes easily, because people see him. They're going to go in the voting booth, and you know, you stay in the voting booth for a few seconds. You say, "Oh, I've heard that name before." Even for the people who haven't heard it before, because believe it or not, there's a lot of people like we were when we were young, Paul. We were not in tune. We heard these people's names, but when we got in the booth, it rung to our head, and we said, "We just,
right."
You know, we would
any
vote for
press, any press
is good press. The Honorable Donald J. Eckerly, one of my better district court judges back when he was alive, God rest his soul. He would always get a lot of bad press, but bad press is press, right? Bad publicity is publicity. So anyway, Paul, I want to show this clip. The clip is called "Elephant in the Room." If we can get our producers just to play that, let's let everybody listen to how that exchange went when the reporter from ABC asked the very first question about the elephant in the room. Check this out.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Okay, actually, I thought that was the excuse me. I thought that was the longer clip because I wanted everybody to actually hear his commentary and his response to that. So, Paul, now back to you. Unless you want to talk about Alvin's comments in here, he's talking about Paul is correct. He said Paul is correct. You can't do what?
I can't see his comment.
Right. Let me read it to you. Paul is correct. You want to take us to the comment screen?
Or maybe not.
Here's what it says. It says, Paul is correct on our vote in Kentucky, that while her VP pick is important, she will pick a VP from a swing state to win that state.
Right. Now, if she picks Andy Beshear, maybe she flips Kentucky.
Maybe she flips Kentucky.
But it's a numbers game. It's only 8 points. She's going for Pennsylvania or Arizona.
Would you give me my accolades if she wins Kentucky?
Yeah, of course, but this ain't gonna happen.
I mean, you do know that
the sun falls tomorrow. You know, I'll give you accolades if you predict it.
Paul, you make it sound like it's impossible. So that's why I wanted to get you on the record to say that you believe that it's impossible, because I will tell you something.
Today, politics changes. You still got 90 days to go.
Well, then don't say it's impossible. But listen, here's what I would remind everybody of. Excuse me. I think that's God telling me I shouldn't be drinking this Red Bull. But anyway, here's what people need to know. In less than a week, she has been in this race, correct?
Right.
She has raised more money than any Democratic candidate in such a short period of time, in a very, very long time, if not in history.
True.
Number one. And number two, every day we wake up, there's a new poll that says that she is leading
right.
And that she is gaining.
But polls will go up and down all the way until something dramatic happens. Trump's performance this week at the conference did not help him. He's not.
She is not Cornel West black, but okay, I'm here for the commentary. That's one of our. We're going to get a lot of comments tonight.
That's cool, but
and we can talk about that Ahmad.
We got a whole bunch of issues to talk about, so we don't want to dwell on
talk about this definition of what it means to be black, because I had that definition with someone earlier.
Okay, so we're switching topics. All right, so are we talking about his initial question? Because we didn't play it, but he totally blew that, and then he goes off on a tirade about her being nasty just for asking the question. Like, he always says women, and especially black women, are nasty. You know, they're nasty because that's his way of conveying to his people that she's subhuman. She's not worthy of being around me, and it's him expressing his dominance over women. She's nasty. Who do you call nasty in your life now?
Well, Paul, I'm glad you brought that up because there is a lot of literature out there about dog whistles. I've talked about dog whistles on this show many, many times, and I would tell you that's a dog whistle because, we have lunch with a lawyer, an older white male lawyer, Jewish lawyer, and I'm not going to call him out. But what I'm going to say is that one of the things that he says, and I've confronted him on this many times, but it's so ingrained in him when he's talking about women, particularly black women, he says, well, I think she's a good gal. And gal is
it's not adult.
So what Donald Trump is really doing, and I'm glad you brought that up, is that when he says nasty and things like that, those are dog whistles when he's talking about black women. Those are dog whistles that he's putting out there because a lot of racist white men believe that is an appropriate description of a black woman. She's mean. No, hold on. Nasty, mean, and things like that. Everything that he said to this ABC report.
Right. So just ask any woman, forget whether she's black or white, the last time you were called nasty, anyone in the bedroom, the last time you were called nasty and you liked it. Like, that's just, you don't call men nasty. You don't really call them that, but call a woman nasty. It's like, it may not be like calling them a bitch, but it's something particularly that he's doing, as you say, a dog whistle, about not just women, but he particularly picks on black women. And I know this for a fact.
And some would argue, Paul, that black women particularly pick on him. Well, you've got Judge...
And there was nothing wrong with her question.
Judge Chutkin, is that her name in D.C.?
Yes.
You've got Fonnie Willis.
Yes, he calls them all nasty.
You've got Letitia James. You've got Alvin Bragg is a black male. You've got... who's the other one? There's one more.
But
and then you got... Huh? No, Jasmine Crockett picks on all the Republican politicians. But you also have, now you have Kamala Harris. So Donald Trump really doesn't have the best record against black females. Now, but listen, let's just be honest about this. Race should never be a part of this. And we can go
the
all
Republicans
night.
are making they're making it racial and identity politics. He had no reason to say what he says in the clip, and we haven't played, but I'm sure everybody's seen it, so it's really showing the clip, everybody's seen it, but he had no reason to call out her, whether she was black or white. What did he say? I didn't know she was black till here recently. She used to identify as Indian and all that. There was no need for that. And it's just, the point is that he could have went in there and he could have humbled himself. He would never do that. He could have looked normal and answered questions like a regular politician, and he'd have walked out there and they'd been like, gosh, the Black Conference of Journalists, that was stupid for bringing him. You just made him look better, but he couldn't help himself. He is who he is.
Well, and in a BJ, let me just say this. When you're inviting a former president of the United States, even if it is Donald Trump, you should be on time. I mean, starting 35 minutes late.
Well, he called
right
out for the CPT.
Right, because that is color people time, and that's a stereotype.
So, well, you started 30 minutes late. It wasn't my fault.
And I am certain that if I call anybody that I know that's a part of that organization, they would tell me that, Carl, it was out of our control, right? It was something in the hotel with the sound system, et cetera, et cetera.
Never is.
But anyway, let me.
MSNBC would never have started 30 minutes late.
Let me just say this to those of you who are listening out there. We see your comments, and we're going to go all the way back. If you can go all the way down and get to the beginning comments. Paul, let's talk about these comments before, because we've got a lot to get through tonight. So go right there. Paul is correct. I think we talked about this, right? Paul is correct on our vote in Kentucky that while her VP pick is important, she will pick a VP from a swing state to win that state. And then here's the interesting one. Ahamara, the queen, says she's not Cornel West black, but okay, I'm here for the commentary. So this is interesting because more than any time now, black people are dividing each other and saying what is black and what's not black. Right. Remember, it takes us back to the 40s.
Not black every other week, don't I?
You'll call St. Matthews.
Okay,
but
same thing.
Same thing, right? it's interesting, Paul, that we're having this discussion now. That a lot of black people are having this discussion. Now there's a way to define who's black and who's not black, and I don't know where the parameters are. Is it because is it the culture? Is it your skin tone? What is it?
It's like you can pick on your brother, but nobody else can. Like, you might say I'm not black, but of course, if a white person said I wasn't black, you'd probably come on the fence, right? It's kind of like that. Kamala Harris is black because when she goes home and if she wasn't the vice president, if she's just any other Joe and she's walking down the street, she'd be a black woman. Period. In the discussion.
Right. So, if she had a hoodie on, she might get shot by the police, right? So listen, but here's the thing. Let me just say this about Kamala Harris. First of all, for everybody out there, we have a clip for all of y'all out there who believe that she's not black, whatever in the hell that means. But I will say this, that we are defined by our culture, right?
I haven't seen anybody else say she was. There's people
there's a lot of people that are actually saying that. And I think that's where Donald Trump got that from, because he's a social media junkie. Right. So he's hearing this stuff on social media and he's talking about it. But here's the thing. Here's something that y'all need to know about Kamala Harris. First of all, D.L. Hughley has a spot out there, a video out there where he talks about apologizing because he told lies on him, right? So let me just tell you this about what I've learned about Kamala Harris. First of all, I am proud to say that I was on the stage. I was on the same stage and platform with her back in 2009, or wasn't 2010. I think it was 2009 when I attended the out in San Francisco, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Boule, sorority Boule, which is a national convention. She was pretty then. But let me just say this. Understand her background, and then you make the determination as to where her culture really is. She has an Indian mother. Her father is a Jamaican, right? A black Jamaican, because there are whites in Jamaica. There are white Jamaicans too. It's a black Jamaican. Not only that, she was raised in Oakland. Oakland, California is the capital. It's as black as you can get. That's where Tupac, and all those guys come from. But it's also the birthplace of the Black Panther Party. And her father used to take her to these Black Panther Party events, right? Because the Black Panther Party did a lot for the black community in Oakland. Y'all remember the videos about the Oakland police and the Black Panther Party and the shootout and all of that. But then this woman decides, with all of her academic accolades, she could have gone to any college in this country. Because we can be stereotypical and say because she had an Indian mother, so she must have been smart, right? But we're not going to say that because that would be stereotypical.
Well, let's talk about the other
elephant. No. Hold on before we get there, Paul. But let me just finish this point. So she decides to go all the way across the country to Washington, D.C. to attend one of the most prestigious black colleges in the nation, which is Howard University. But she doesn't stop there. When you want to define whether she's black, whether she's not black, is that she could have gone on to that campus, and Paul, just like a lot of predominantly white institutions, you can join a white organization. And this wasn't, there were none on Howard's campus, but I'm just saying that she could have distanced herself. She could have gotten with a different community outside of Howard's campus in Washington, D.C. But she decided to join the oldest black sorority in the world, which was Alpha Kappa Alpha. So when you think about whether she's black or whether she's not black, whatever that means, I want y'all to give some thought to that, because there were a lot of choices that she could have made, and she seemed to chose all black choices.
This is not a debate or conversation worth having. Kamala Harris is black, period. Even if she was mixed with a black father and a white mother, she's black. By all intents and purposes, she's lived a blacker life than a lot of black people, period. Give up that argument. The only people saying that, and I haven't read any comments, is probably people who are black and support Donald Trump. They suddenly won't call her not black. Okay. That's probably what it is.
Right.
In a nutshell.
Well, let's do this. You have the clip here, Mr. Producer, of the black man. I want y'all to listen to this. Check this out.
This is for all of the black men that support Donald. You are pretty embarrassing, and not directly to me, but in a general sense, you are embarrassing to our demographic, right? And I'm not just talking about, your conservative or Republican black men who are kind of surrounded by Republican white folks and all of that who grew up in that world and all of that. I'm talking about black men like me, black men around the hood, from the hood, hood adjacent, or what some may say your average or quote unquote normal black man, right? Donald does not care about you. You are not standing out from the crowd by supporting him. You're like, this is not the way to go against the grain. At the end of the day, truly, as an individual, I don't care what you do, but I want y'all to understand it's not what y'all think it is. It's not the flex that y'all think it is, right? You brag about him or you side with him like, oh, he funny. Oh, this dude is hilarious. Oh, he's rich. He says whatever he wants to. He's outlandish. He don't give a damn. All of those things may be true, but I think you're failing to realize this isn't some anime character. This isn't some Love and Hip Hop character. This isn't some reality star. He was previously a reality star, but he is a political candidate now for presidency. This is not so, and when you go to them polls and you decide to vote him in, really think about the fact that he does not care about you as a black man. If he seen you on the street, he would walk right past you. He's not going to look at you and be like, oh, I need to help solve the issues that face you in this country. He don't care. So stop sucking him. I can't believe I'm saying this, but for those of you that are supporting him because of a potential stimulus package, my brother, the pandemic is over with.
Okay, Paul.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought that was an interesting clip because there are a lot of them out there, and a lot of people have decided to actually do this. So we're going to talk as we talk, Paul. There's going to be some comments pop up, and I'll tell you the comments that we believe are relevant. Wow. And the Queen is really talking here. Let's put this comment up. Let's read this. This says, he was telling the truth. She said Indian, now she's black. That HBCU doesn't change your nationality. Black women are being preyed upon, and we are falling for it. Okay, Queen.
Can I comment?
Go ahead, comment on that.
I mean, if the lady has an Indian mother and she's got a black father, why does she have to deny her Indian mother? I think it's so ruthless of someone to say that. Like she is who she is. You love your mom. You love your dad, probably, I guess. You should. And so why would you deny either one of them? She can't help who she was born to. So for people to say I'm Indian, she probably's like, ain't nobody pointing out the fact that I'm half Indian. You know what? Her mother probably, a lot of Indian culture, if you go outside, remember that movie Mississippi Masala by Spike Lee? Remember how that lady went outside of her Indian heritage and they ostracized her at first in the beginning of that movie? Her mother, I don't know this for a fact. What if her mother went through that? Of course she's going to be proud of her mother. Because if it wasn't for her mother, she wouldn't be there.
Yeah,
you can't hold that against her.
I mean, I would tell you, biracial kids in this country sometimes go through the worst. I looked at the Colin Kaepernick movie. Very interesting. So,
I mean, you can't be black.
I'm already sensitive.
You can't be the other race.
But
what can you be?
But how about this? How about this, Paul? I think you and I talked about this earlier. Me and somebody else talked about this
People need to slow
earlier.
their roll on that. If you're mixed and you don't claim 100%
but we're
black,
all mixed.
No, I'm just saying. But if you're mixed and you don't claim 100% black, then somehow you got a problem.
Right?
It's just not fair.
Right. But see, here's the whole point, and everybody needs to hear this, right? If we are Africans, and Africans are close to the sun, and their pigmentation is very, very dark, why aren't we that way? That means before we got here, back to the first person of our lineage, if that person was a dark, very dark-skinned African, we were mixed with something to be this color. Right, Paul?
Even if it was Egyptians?
Even if it was
Turks,
Egyptians, even if it was
Spaniards,
Turks, even if it was white, even if it was Indians, even if it was Irish people, we're all that way. So if you don't have, and I have a lot of African clients, I have a lot of African friends, and I can tell you their hair is not like my hair. My hair is a little softer than theirs, and that's because they're
and straighter.
And straight, well, that's straight. It's beady, but we have different beady hair in America. You had beady hair when you was little.
We all had good hair, Carl.
Well, yeah, but that's my point. You had good hair. Where does that good hair come from? It doesn't come from your African lineage, assuming that you are actually from Africa. So anyway, I mean, we can talk about that forever.
I don't want to insult your guest, but that's an unfair comment when people say.
Well, no, this is why we're here. We post the comments, and you can talk about it. She says, "I am talking about culture and history of Black Americans." And we are too, Queen Ahamara. We're talking about culture as well.
When people say that because she claimed her Indian identity, that she can no longer be black, again, you got to put yourself in her shoes. She has a mother who was Indian. For people to claim that she can't claim her mother, just because you got to disown her culture,
just because you want to be
what
Jamaican?
Makes her who she is. So you put a person who's mixed. Every time we ostracize mixed people, we put them in a box and say you're either going to be black or you're going to act like a white person. No, they can act like both, and that's perfectly fine because that's what they are. And it's not fair for people to make them be one side or the other. Now, 9 times out of 10, mixed people gravitate towards what culture? The black culture.
Let's listen to
Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys has a mixed mother.
Yeah, but I don't
mother.
Listen.
Nobody ever talks about that.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm going to say this: people, we need to get off of this black thing. I mean, we have a person running for office, and she's thoroughly qualified. She's thoroughly qualified. And why do we spend so much time shooting her down as if she's not? Unless it's the Chinese and the Russian paying you money or the Trump campaign paying you money. Why would we do that?
Because they don't have people on MAGA's side don't have anything bad to say about McCalla except her laugh, her heritage, and her smile or something. They don't attack anything else. That's what they attack.
Kamala.
What'd I say?
McCalla.
I did not.
You did? Didn't he say McCalla?
Did I say McCalla?
You
said
McCalla.
No, I didn't.
You're worse than Trump.
Rewind that.
No, they're going to see it on the air. You said
ask
McCalla.
Them what I said. Ask them. I know what I said.
If y'all heard Paul, just turn in. It said McCalla.
I said Kamala.
So is Cornel West. Why aren't we talking about him?
Right.
That's messed up. Because Cornel, Ahamara, can I say something to you? I would never vote for Cornel West.
No.
Now, if there's some criticism about we're voting for Kamala because she's black, there's definitely a lot of people out there voting for Cornel West because he's black.
You can't understand what Cornel says half the time.
He's worse than this Kennedy guy. He's worse than this Kennedy guy. So the whole point is that Cornel West is horrible. He never talks about what I listen to his platform. He's horrible.
He says
he's big ass glasses, the mustache coming all the way over, touching his upper lip.
Those are personal attacks, but basically,
no, it's not personal attacks.
But Cornel West uses 45 words to say what he can say in 5. That's what his problem is.
Cornel West is not Dick Gregory. Let's keep that in mind. Dick Gregory was a fine man. Cornel West is not him, and I just thought I'd say that. But anyway, we got some more. Let's people are voting for Kamala because she's black, LOL. You saying the same thing. No, I mean, I think people who are pointing that out.
Who said that?
That's what a Hummer said. I think people who are pointing it out that people are voting for Kamala because she's black.
How about this?
I think, when you say that, let me just say this, Paul. Now I'll give you the floor. When you say that, what you're really saying is that people don't have the intelligence to identify her qualifications versus her opponent's qualifications. I mean, you can't just ignore that she's actually one of the best people qualified to run this country than a lot of people. I mean, she was an attorney general for the whole state of California, the largest state in this nation.
5th largest economy in the world.
5th largest economy in the world. And all we can say is that people are voting for her because she's black. What about the fact that she's actually a lawyer? She has this impeccable record. She's been a U.S. senator. What about all of that?
Those don't mean anything. And she was vice president. I mean, at the end of the day, people who make attacks on Kamala and say, well, you're only voting for her because she's black, then why are you voting for Trump? You can't tell me any accomplishment that Trump's made that pales in comparison to all the negativity he brings to the office. So you're only voting for Trump because he's white, okay? That's why you're voting for Trump. You see how silly that sounds?
Yeah.
It's silly, but that's what I'm going to come back with. You're only voting for Trump because he's white. It's silly. I don't believe that.
I believe that people who are all on this kick about, you just quick to criticize. And that, listen, can I say this? Y'all are black faces. You know what black faces were? Back in the 20s and the 30s, black people couldn't be on TV. So white people painted their face black and performed like black folks, right? And people were entertained by that. I mean, they were selling out theaters with that. But at the end of the day, the intellectual part of what they were doing was using a black face to convey their message. And I think there's a lot of black faces. We just know how to point them out.
I mean, the point is that if you're going to talk about Kamala Harris and say the only reason why people are voting for her is because she's black, then you've got to tell me what policies or what it is about her other than she's black that you're not going to vote her for.
Right. It says people are voting for Kamala because of the evil alternative deemed Antichrist. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you, I was going to vote for Biden because of Trump.
Just to vote against Trump. It could have been a vegetable.
So
it could have been in a wheelchair.
I told you at lunch, Paul, it could have been a green bean. But anyway, we gotta play this clip real quick. Play the clip of this is how get that off the screen. This is how stupid he is. Let's first of all, let's just deal with one part. Let's play the Mother Jones. Check this out.
I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Trump made this statement to a room full of black people at the National Association of Black Journalists in Chicago. This is obviously a false and self-aggrandizing claim, but I'll respond as though he made this comment out of pure ignorance. He's right. Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation was no doubt one of the most important moments in American history broadly and black history specifically. But despite their best efforts to minimize it, there has been a lot of history since. It was Harry Truman who, in 1948, 2 years after Trump was born, it was him who desegregated the U.S. military and signed executive orders eliminating discrimination in the U.S. government. It was Lyndon B. Johnson who signed some of the most consequential legislation in this country's history. The Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, and the Fair Housing Act. Laws that provided equal protection for all Americans, but especially for black Americans, who still experience racial discrimination at higher rates to this day. And since we're talking about discrimination, it was your Justice Department, Mr. Trump, that sought to roll back the anti-discrimination protections of the Civil Rights Act, effectively trying to undo something that protects black people. It was Donald Trump's Opportunity Zones program, an initiative that he loves to praise in front of black people, that has accelerated gentrification and, according to ProPublica, provided tax breaks for the extremely wealthy and disproportionately white.
Opportunity Zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs.
What's painfully obvious is that Donald Trump is out of his historical and social depth when talking about what's good for black people. And the question is, why do we keep listening?
Right. Why? You know,
I mean, when people believe that he's done more for black people, even if you don't think about Abraham, the first thing you think of is what happened in the 60s.
Yeah, I think people are just too dumb to do the research.
They not do the research, just remember.
I mean, you know,
she's probably old enough to remember.
When you're speaking of the Queen. When we were young, we had to go to the library to get our information. People have it right in the palm of their hands, and they chose to listen and view some of the worst information. But I'm gonna play another clip here, if we can, Paul. The next clip I want to play is, this is how stupid Donald Trump is. How about the black jobs? Let's play the black jobs one.
Wow.
Check this out.
Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr.
they're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that, and Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country.
And you know that's not true. It's
50 million.
It's very
50 million immigrants.
And it's very difficult to get union jobs if you're an immigrant.
50 million immigrants. He said 50 million. You know how many that is? That would be
where was the lie? Ask Chicago. No. Okay, hold on. Let's talk about Chicago. What is going? Listen,
50 million.
Listen, here's the thing, Queen of Hammer. Let me just say this to you. I saw all of that stuff that was going on in Chicago, and let me just tell you, those people that were threatened are the people who, if they were threatened that these immigrants were taking their jobs, those are the poorly educated and the people who have very, very low standards and chose to lean on the government for help. Okay. I have yet to hear that there has been a pack of lawyers coming across
right.
The border, right, to take our jobs. So that's why that is a problem. But I will tell you what they were arguing about in Chicago was the same thing that everybody complains about and criticizes the Democrats for. They said, they are taking our services. Why don't you go get a damn job and create your own services? I'm just serious. And I'm not saying, I know we talk about the bootstrap. Some people don't have boots or a strap on their boot to even pull them up. But I'm just saying, why do we continue to be dependent upon the government? And that's what y'all criticize the Democrats for. Oh, the Democrats are just using us, exploiting us, giving us this and giving us that. And what they're doing in Chicago, they are complaining that the immigrants are coming because they're taking the services that otherwise would be available for black folks. Here's another one. Have you heard the uproar from black Americans about migrants? That we have always heard that they are building housing and giving them funding and can't manage their own citizens. Yeah, but that's a different issue. That is a whole different issue, and we don't have time to talk about that. But I would tell you this: that I have some clients who are from Mexico, and let me tell you, I have to say this: they are working harder than some people here in America, and they have built a business. I mean, if they're my clients, I'm doing some legal work for them. Not that they're in trouble, but I'm representing their business, and for me to be representing their business, and the two of us can't, and between me and the owner, we can't communicate. What that says to me is that the owner has not been in this country long enough to be able to master the English language, but long enough to understand that there was opportunity. She took it, and she's making a lot of money. I'm just going to leave it there.
Well, I mean, I'll admit that immigration is a problem. For us
it is a problem.
For us to sit and think that immigration is not a problem, that's not true. But all you Trump supporters, and I'm going to say this until the end of the election, who think that immigration is a problem and it needs to be solved, then all of y'all need to turn to your master-in-chief and ask him, why did he kill the border bill? Because that's one of the biggest stories that happened this summer that nobody really talks about. And the reason why we don't talk about it, Carl, is because there's always something new sucking the oxygen out of the room. But that's huge. There was a bill introduced by a Republican, James Lankford of, I think, Oklahoma. And he, for the most part, solved our issues that we couldn't solve in the last 20 or 30 years with how to handle the border and how to get everyone to agree. The Republican Congress was all for it. They got the Democrats to agree, and everybody was all for it. And you'll hear these numbers thrown around, well, they were still letting people across. What it said was the border gets shut down and closed after we have 5,000 contacts with individuals. That means 5,000 people try to come across the border. Once you get to that number, you shut the border down. And that was a number that people could agree on, as opposed to completely shutting it down, which is impossible, right? Or letting everybody across. And there were some other things of what to do with detainees. They had it all solved. But one man said, hey, if you solve the border issue, I won't have anything to campaign on and I'll lose the election. Ask yourselves, MAGA, how is that patriotic by any stretch of the imagination? How are you going to put a guy in office and say he's all for protecting America and making America great again and putting America first when it came to his personal goals, he put America second?
Yeah, but even bigger than that, Paul, I would say this. I don't, when I hear this discussion about the border, we heard him in this video talking about the border czar, she's a border czar. I go back to the escalator in 2015 when he was coming down. And he said, we're going to take care of the border.
And never did.
We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So why isn't that Donald Trump's problem? I mean, we gave him 4 years. We also gave him a Senate. We also gave him the House. And
he could have passed legislation.
He couldn't pass legislation.
He could have passed the legislation that Langford came up with.
He couldn't build the wall. He couldn't do any of that. So why are we even talking as if it is a Democratic issue or a Democratic problem? Trump has 4 years of stifled immigration, and he failed while having the power of the Senate. Absolutely, right. Alvin. That's what I'm talking about. He said that this is what he would do. So I just posed this question.
Well, he said a lot of things that he would do.
No. But Paul, think about this. If somebody comes into your office and say, give me a contract for 4 years and I'm going to fix your computers. And you say, I have one problem with my computer. There is this crazy virus that keeps popping up and throwing porn while I'm working on briefs and working on my legal cases. Yeah, I know. And then 4 years go by, the problem's not solved. That person comes back and says, Paul, I want to apply for another contract. I want you to give me that contract. And, I can get that porn off. What are you going to say to that person, Paul?
You failed.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. With 2016, he said he was going to do it. He didn't do it. Why should we give him another chance to try to do it?
You know something else Trump said he was going to do and that nobody else could do? And this happened today. So this is real-time news. He said that Russia would never release the hostages unless he was president. Guess what happened today? Yeah. They released the hostages under Biden. He negotiated the deal for the last 3 months.
He got so much egg on his face now, he could be a chicken.
I mean, it's just like, and he said if he's not elected in 2020, the economy would tank. The economy is at its best. Jobs would tank. Unemployment is low.
We got a video for you, Paul.
Yeah, show me that video.
Why don't we show that video? Check this out, y'all.
Wow. Biden's plan will destroy 5 million jobs. 353,000 jobs added in the first month of the year. What a blowout report. Your 401ks and money itself will be worth this.
You might have noticed in the corner of your screen here, the Dow has never been higher than this.
If Biden wins, there will be no fracking, no oil.
The United States is producing more oil than any country ever in history.
Bankrupt your Social Security system.
Senior citizens set to see a big bump in their Social Security checks.
You'll be locked down for years.
The COVID-19 public health emergency in this country officially ending at midnight tonight.
If Biden won, China would own the United States. They would literally own the United States.
Trade deficit with China was up under Donald Trump. Under Biden, it's finally coming down.
There will be no school, no graduations, no weddings.
Marriages are back to pre-pandemic levels.
No Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
No Easters.
Happy Easter.
No Christmases.
Merry Christmas, America.
No 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July, America.
Other than that, you're going to have a wonderful life.
Okay.
I love that video. But people got to wake up. They got to wake up and see. So, you remember The Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
Remember how at the beginning of the movie when it's in black and white, Dorothy meets the wizard and he's a grifter, right? And then in the middle of the color version, you find out that the wizard is a grifter. That is Donald Trump. He's going to tell you whatever it is he thinks you want to hear. He's going to tell you can solve all your problems, but he knows he's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything that he says he's going to do except anything that benefits himself.
And then you follow the yellow brick road and you find out that he's a fake.
He complained about Obama playing golf when he was running for election and how horrible it was, but then he played golf more than any other president in history.
Yeah.
That's the person you're getting. Wake up.
How about this, Paul? He says, and I think it's part of Project 2025, and I'm not sure about that, but I think I did see it in there. He says that he thinks police officers, and he will push to give police officers 100% immunity. Why would any black man who is the subject of the barrel of a gun of a police officer in this country ever consider voting for him?
That means Floyd, when he got his neck snapped, right? Immunity.
Nope.
Too bad.
Don't lose your job. You don't get prosecuted criminally. You can't get civilly sued. The state couldn't get civilly sued because the police officer has immunity. This girl in Chicago or Missouri, whatever it was, Springfield, right? The one that got shot in her kitchen. And he says, I am going to shoot you in your fucking face if you do it. And he does it. Under Donald Trump's plan, there will be no consequence.
So who is happy about immunity for cops? Think about this. White supremacists.
Right, white supremacists.
Because they
play cop, right?
They are the police officers, or the police officer's family, or the police officer's extended family, and they're the good old boy connection. And when they get in trouble, nobody shoots at them, but they're always fearful of the black man who might pull a gun or a banana or, a cell phone, and they get to shoot them. And okay, forget the fact that they're not going to be prosecuted for accidents. What about the intentional murders? Oh, right. I want this black man dead. I have full immunity. I'm just waiting for him to jump. No, not even wait for him to jump. Just get my buddies to tell the story that he did jump.
Right.
I got immunity. I can't. People got to understand. Immunity means not only that you can't be prosecuted, but guess what else, Carl? You can't even be investigated.
Can be investigated. That's right. Immunity means immunity.
Anybody who's black who thinks that's okay is out of their minds. Out of their minds.
Just put them up there.
Black or white, for real. Even if you're white, you don't want to be, or whatever nationality you are, whatever you are, you don't want police to ever have immunity because that means they are Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop. I got a badge that means I can kick your ass whenever I want to.
Yeah, Hammer, I believe that white supremacists are everywhere. I mean, we know the history of the Democratic Party. They were Dixiecrats and all that. But here, I want to, first of all, I need to point this out because I'm sure a lot of people have realized this, and maybe this is why people are jealous about the hoopla about Kamala Harris. It's not McCalla, man. It's Kamala.
I didn't see it.
A lot of black men got on a Zoom call shortly after she announced, and in about 2 hours raised $1 million. White men did it just a few days ago. They raised $4 million. 160,000 white women got on a Zoom call and raised $5 million for Kamala Harris. So I think there's a movement that is hard to understand in this country for this woman.
It feels like Obama, but not yet.
Right. Well, it feels like Obama, but I would tell you this though.
She needs a great speech like Obama gave.
We are a week into this. If we go through a couple more weekends like this, who knows when this is going to stop? But I want to, just in reference to the white women that supported her, and for all the men who believe that you cannot bring yourself to vote for a woman for nothing, I want you to take a listen to this clip.
So what's the complaint, boys? What's the complaint this morning? She laughs. She laughs too much? Me too. I have been laughing since yesterday. Every video that I see, every freaky stupid comment that's in my comment section now, because the red hats are out now. Because we got trouble, don't we now? We got trouble. It's not just a woman. It's a black woman. Y'all losing your collective minds, are you not? Yeah. Yeah, you are. She laughs too much. It's really hard not to. So, it's just a little disclaimer from all of us out here. It's just really hard not to laugh at y'all now. It's really hard not to. And I want to thank you for your concern about, how the Democrats shouldn't have taken away my vote for Joe. Well, you know what? That's cool. It's all cool. We're okay. We're just fine. This was just a leap forward for us. We didn't expect it when that first happened. Yes, I was shocked. Yes, we were all shocked. My phone immediately started going off, going crazy, and I was on my phone and online pretty much all day yesterday figuring out what the hell was happening, and now that everything has settled in, we're good. We're good. Because we'd always hoped that one day we would have a woman president of this country. we'd always hoped we'd have a black woman president of this country. We just didn't know it was going to be this year. That's the only surprise for us, is that it's just going to happen a whole lot sooner than we thought it was going to happen. So I'll tell you what, all you Republican boys coming in my DMs, and of course, you know, I don't see those for a while because they always wind up in filtered comments and things like that, so I don't get to see them right off. But I just want you to know that your concern for me, and for other Democratic women, we have taken note of that, and it's okay. Y'all just keep it pushing. Y'all just keep it pushing. You don't even have to stop by our pages. You don't even have to say anything to us. You don't have to make your presence known. You don't have to let us know that you think we're fat, that you think we're ugly, that you think we're stupid, because we already know you don't really think that. We already know. It's just words you can fling around, and we're all prepared. And we know it's going to be even worse now than it was during the Hillary, when Hillary was running. It's going to be even worse, because this is not just a woman, it's a black woman. And it's a smart black woman. Very smart black woman. Which just tickles me shitless. So, just, you know, it's okay. Just keep it pushing, keep it scrolling. And another thing that's not going to happen is I love how y'all do that little game you do where you say really mean stuff in my comment section, and you're just hoping, you are just hoping that I will do a response video or a comment that you can report and get my comments shut off. You want to get me comment banned. You want to get my videos taken down. So let me tell you, it's just not going to work. When I see your stupid comments and the dumb-ass things that you say to women everywhere for making our own choices for our own lives, what we're going to do is we are going to block and delete. We are not going to be responding to you because that is just playing into your hands. We don't want to be in your hands anymore. So thank you for your concern, and this is how we will be conducting business. Kamala Harris for president.
There you go.
What can I say after that?
I mean, she said it all, didn't she? She said it all. So anyway, as we get to the point of wrapping up, Paul, we're gonna run through all the comments. Okay, before we right? Yes, we are. We're gonna run. The producer's saying no. We're gonna run through those comments because that's why the people tune in. They will let them see their comments. We'll run through them very, very quickly. But Paul, earlier this week, in fact, on Tuesday of this week, I rolled around in my bed very early in the morning, and I never watched WDRB, but this morning I was watching WDRB news, and he was talking, and it was raining outside. And he said the rain is going to stop, and he introduced a new phrase that you found it hard to believe that I heard, a new phrase.
On TV.
On BSI. How many of y'all out there know what BSI is when it's hot? If you don't know what BSI is, I want y'all to listen to this clip, and we're going to try to loop this clip so we would actually play it twice. Can you play that?
No, play it once. Once is good.
He said once is good.
It's 10:03.
This is for those of you who don't know, there is a measurement when it gets real hot and humid. Like the heat index today was 108 from what I was told. At least that was the prediction when I left the house this morning. There is this thing called booty sweat index. And I bet y'all didn't know that, did you? I want y'all to take a listen to this, because when I told some of my colleagues at lunch that, you know, I heard the BSI, the booty sweat index, is going to be very high today. And they say, well, no weatherman would ever say that. No, nobody said that. Carl, you're lying. I don't know why they think I would lie. I'm such an honest Christian. But that's what they said. Anyway, check this out.
That's how hot it is. I call it the booty sweat index sometimes, you know, the muggy meter. But the BSI, the booty sweat index, that's something to keep in mind with jungle air around today. Feels like temperatures 100 to 105. It is going to be so humid all week long.
Again, play it one more time.
That's how hot it is. I call it the booty sweat index sometimes, you know, the muggy meter. But the BSI, the booty sweat index, that's something to keep in mind with jungle air around today. Feels like temperatures 100 to 105. It is going to be so humid all week long.
Come back to me on that. Yeah.
Booty sweat.
Anyway,
index.
Paul, you can go back to Paul.
Booty sweat index.
Paul, listen. Both of us. Paul, listen. We have to end the show because it is getting late. What do you think about that? Now you know that there is actually such thing by weather in the weather world that says booty sweat index.
What was the number? What was our booty sweat index number?
I didn't measure my booty sweat index.
What scale is it?
I don't know. I don't know what I don't even know. I stay inside most of the day. I leave my house.
Do we have to test people now?
I leave my coat.
People gotta get tested. Do you stick a ruler in there in the butt crack and see how much water comes off like a dipstick? Like, oh, your booty sweat index is high today. Oh, we had about 3 inches.
Listen, I leave my cold house. I get into my cold car. I drive into my garage, in the garage here at the office.
Everybody
and then
can't afford that car.
No, I understand that. So I'm not sure if I ever have on a daily basis when the heat index is 108. I don't know if I have a booty sweat index. But apparently, for those of you who didn't know, every morning, can you imagine people working out in the sun, what their booty sweat index would be? I'm asking, Paul. Who do you think would have? How about the judges sitting on the bench? You think they have a booty sweat index?
Serious interviewer, interviewee, rather.
No, but yeah. But you're over the left. How about when you're in court and you're running late for court and you run over to the courthouse and it's a 100-degree index outside and you get in the courtroom and you're sweating. You can see the sweat on your face. You walk in that courtroom to sit down in that chair to do.
You better not wear a light suit that day.
Yeah, because your booty sweat index might show, right?
Yeah. High booty sweat index.
Anyway,
do you carry something around? Like, do they have like pads for men or something that
Paul,
you don't need?
You're gonna have to ask the weatherman. Those are his words. That's his phrase.
Get some ultra thins or something put in there.
I couldn't believe it. Booty sweat index. I don't know. I don't know what the measuring stick is, but maybe we all invite the weatherman on to explain the BSI.
He's not
the daily BSI.
He's definitely not coming.
But when we retrieved that clip from WDRB 41 here on the local Fox station, the media person, the digital director, I think I was talking to, she said, "Oh, there's no telling what he said." Now there is some telling what he said. He let us know that there's such thing as a booty sweat index. Anyway, Paul Mullins.
Out of here.
Anyway, it's time for us to go. Thank you for joining me tonight, Paul. Thanks as always to come in and helping us do this show.
BSI,
Booty Sweat Index. We're gonna let this show end with listen. Thank you all for watching and thank you all for your comments. Sorry that we didn't get to show them all, but they were very, very interesting. And we're gonna do this again next week because we are 90-something days away from election day, and we're gonna be 7 more days closer when we come back next week.
Don't get worn out, y'all.
I'm Carl Price. This has been Conscious Fever here on Ice Entertainment Television. That's Paul Mullins over there who decided to join us tonight. We will hopefully be back next week. Have a good week and keep your booty sweat index low. See you.